As Coach will open with a statement, raise your hand, we'll get you the mic.
How's everybody today? Good. You know, I think we had a really good clinic this week. I was really excited about, all the speakers that we had, and the only reason I mention it, it's not that it's more important than the clinic, but sometimes as a coach, it reminds you when you hear Tony Dungy speak or Bill Polian, or we had Spurrier and Steve Spurrier and Frank Beamer here as well. Kind of brings you back to your roots in terms of what the most important things are. And I think one of the things that I wanted to share with the players today after practice was, Tony Dungy said that he learned from Chuck Noll that, champions don't have to do extraordinary things. They just have to do ordinary things extraordinarily. And, I think that's really speaks a lot about, the scrimmage that we had today, the spring practice as a whole. I think the ones on both sides of the ball, played well. I mean, obviously they can do better things, and we've got plenty to improve on. But, there was better continuity. There was a lot of improvement. There were plays made by both sides. Robert Foster made some big plays. Bo made some big runs. There was a lot better consistency. There was a lot better performance on both sides. I think the first defense had 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. So there was a lot of plays that were made. But past that, I think we have a lot of guys that need to learn how to play winning football, which is really taking care of the ordinary things well. Things like take care of the ball, no discipline not to get penalties. Don't have mental errors, be able to go out there and do your job well. And I think this is part of the reason that our twos, they're trying to make plays, and they don't play with a lot of discipline, which affects their ability to go out there and do their job like they need to. And, this is the goal for the rest of the spring, to get more and more guys that can play winning football, no doubt. So, there's 6 to 12 plays in every game that have a tremendous impact on the game. The problem is you never know when those plays are coming up. So you got to play with consistency. You got to have great focus and intensity on every play, and you got to do your job. And you never know when the 5 plays that you got to make are coming up, and you got to be in position when they do. So that's something that consistency in performance, that focus to be able to execute, is something that more of our players need to learn how to do on a consistent basis. But, I thought all the quarterbacks today, did some good things, made some plays, and, nobody that I can say stood out but made some good plays. I mentioned, Bo had a good day running the ball, had some big runs. Reuben Foster had 4 catches for 106 yards, made a couple big plays, which was good to see. I think it helps his confidence in coming off of an injury. Darius Stewart had another good day. So I really thought our specialist, J.K., really punted well today. Even though it was a crosswind out there, he changed the field position a couple times really effectively. So, all those things I think are real positives for us, things that we wanted to improve on, and really, really pleased with. So, this week we have a little different schedule. We get to tomorrow and Monday. Monday we'll watch the film with the meeting, but Tuesday and Thursday are our last 2 practices. So, we're all doing a little quality control on ourselves to see what we need to work on in these next 2 practices, and how we can help some of our players get better.
Start over here with Michael on the left.
Talk about special teams a little bit. Who are some of the guys that could be punt returners, kick returners, since both your top guys from last year graduated?
Calvin Ridley and Xavier Marks are the 2 guys that, probably have done it the best. We have 2 or 3 other guys that are doing it. But those guys have, done a pretty decent job and did a good job today. We didn't have any mishandled balls or have any turnovers on special teams. So that was a positive.
Go to Ken over here on the right.
Wanted to ask about Damian Harris, what his progress has been, and where he still needs to get better.
Yeah, well, Damian did a good job today. He had 8 carries for 56 yards, which is, really, really good. We wanted him and Bo to sort of get 8 to 10 carries. That was kind of the plan for the day. Bo actually got 12, and he got 8. But he's done a nice job. He's showing some maturity. He's able to compete. He practices better. He's got a better understanding and more confidence of what's expected of him. And I've been really encouraged by, the kind of spring that he's had and the improvement that he's made.
And one more, if I could, just staying with the running backs. Behind those two, what have you seen from the guys here? And then obviously you've got some more guys coming this summer.
Well, I think this is definitely an area where, we've never, ever lost our 2 bell cow guys in the same year. You can go all the way back to the beginning. Mark, Trent, Eddie, Eddie, TJ, Derek, and Derek and Kenyon Drake just happened to be, a little closer together. So I think there's going to be some opportunity for some young players there, and certainly the guys that we have here had lots of opportunities today, and they definitely need to get better. But we've had freshman running backs do well for us in the past, so it's not a position they can't play and contribute.
In the middle of Cecil.
Coach, you said Wednesday that the experienced quarterbacks are almost naturally ahead at this point in the spring. Did that carry over today, and is that why, you mentioned the first teamers can sort of do more things? Is that why they can do more things?
Well, I think that what you look at is how did they move the team? Not just their stats of, completions and all that kind of stuff, but how did they move the team? And I think Cooper moved the team well. I think Jalen Hurt, did a nice job today, and David Cornwell did a pretty good job. But I think there's still a lot of competition, at these positions, and taking care of the ball is a big thing. I don't know how many times you've heard me say before, if every series on offense ends with a kick, whether it's a punt, a field goal, or an extra point, we're okay with that. We can live with that. But giving the ball to the other guys, throwing interceptions, making bad decisions. The game we lost last year, we turned it over 5 times. So that's probably the single, statistic that determines winning and losing, and the quarterback handles the ball every time. So, some of these guys trying to make plays, trying to do extraordinary things on a play rather than just executing the play. They force it, and we have too many turnovers. So who can move the team the best and take care of the ball is the guy that will come out on top.
Back in the front, Mark.
Just want to ask for a quick update on Deshaun Hand. How's he dealing with the back spasms, and is he going to be able to continue practice in the spring?
Well, I think that, it's always hard to judge, that. This is not something that the doctors have assured me or assured us that he doesn't have a situation that he needs to have surgery on. This will just be a thing that, when it calms down, he'll be able to come back. We're hopeful that we'll be able to get him back next week and he'll be able to play in the A-Day game, because with him and Jonathan Allen both out, it really makes us thin in the defensive line where we were already pretty thin to start with. So, we're hopeful that he'll be okay, but I can't predict that right now.
Here with Aaron.
Here. How are Sean Dion, Rashawn, and Keith doing inside?
They're doing fine. I think Rashawn probably has made a lot of plays, but I also think that because this is a new position for him, he's probably makes more mental errors and struggles to feel comfortable knowing exactly what to do. sometimes. But certainly if we can get him over the hump in that regard, he'll, could be a really, really good player for us. But, you've got to be able to focus in a meeting. You got to be able to focus in a walkthrough. You got to be able to carry it from day to day so that we can build on the knowledge and experience that you have so that eventually the mental errors go away. And that's the challenge that we have with him.
Two more quick ones, Kirk and then Matt. Kirk, did you have one? Okay, Matt. Matt and then Alex.
Just to follow up on what you said about Robert Foster, to go along with the scrimmage today, just overall, how has he looked this spring, and considering the number of guys you have at wide receiver, just how competitive do you expect that position situation to be there?
Well, I hope it's really competitive. I think we have 3 guys that are ahead of the rest, although I think Cam Sims has really had a good spring. He's healthy. Last year he struggled a lot coming off the knee, then he had a hamstring, and he never really was full speed, but he's done a really, really good job. Derek Keefe has made a lot of plays and done a nice job, very crafty. And the first 3 guys are probably a little ahead of those guys. Robert has struggled at times this spring, not 100% healthy. But I think he's gotten better and better, and I think I was really happy to see he made some plays today because that probably did a lot for his confidence.
Last one right here, Alex.
We've talked about the movement on the offensive line, people moving all across the line. But has anybody kind of established themselves, do you think, at whether it's Ross at center or Jonah at right tackle? Has anybody kind of made a place for themselves there?
Not really. I mean, Ross, I think, has done it at center. We've talked about that a lot. I think Cam, even though he's not practicing, probably has, based on his performance in the past, at left tackle. And, I think that we have more guys to coach that have more ability. Lester Cotton has had a really good spring, and if I had to say, is he one of the top 5 linemen based on what he's done this spring, I would say probably yes. Can I say where he would play? I don't know for sure. He could play right tackle. He could play right or left guard. So some of the younger guys are making progress. Jonah has done a nice job, and so we'll just see how they continue to progress.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.